I have worked with a lot of people working as a PM in Meta who don't have a official MBA degree. So you can actually figure it out where the world has moved today.
Yeah, and I would say actually the majority of the product leaders, and we have this data because we a
Yeah.
lot of them teach at product school, do not have an MBA, and they are extremely successful. And that's also the ultimate validation.
Yep.
One thing that I did as a student my whole life was to reverse engineer. What did the people that I want to be like? What did these people do when they were my age?
Awesome. Let's get to the next segment, which is mostly a rapid fire thing. So here, would love to hear some of your candid responses to the questions. So are you ready, Carlos?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Awesome. So let's get started. One product management myth which you would like to debunk.
All right. This is my favorite one. I'm actually going to debunk two. I've been trying to debunk this for a long time. Number one, you do not need to be a software engineer in order to become a product manager. Number two, you don't need to have an MBA in order to become a product manager. Now, I'm not saying that having those type of degrees is going to make your life worse, but they are just not optimized for helping you become a product manager.
Perfect. What is one of your best book you would love to recommend to any aspiring product manager?
Okay, well, you need to let me recommend two, because I wrote one book on product, and then I'm also going to mention another one. So I wrote the product book, and this is specifically focused on helping people become great product managers. The reason why I wrote this book is because I recognize that not everyone is able to enroll in our certifications. So I wanted to give a piece of this to basically anyone and offer the book for free. Anyone can get it. In fact, we got over 200,000 downloads, and it's been translated into 4 different languages, including an audiobook. So today there is no excuse for anybody to try to learn more about the actual mechanics behind building a product. Another book that I'm going to recommend is from my executive coach. Her name is Carol Robin. She wrote a book called Connect. And this is not about the mechanics of product management. This is actually about building connections with people. She calls it interpersonal dynamics. She was a very famous professor at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. And she's been continuing that work now with many other CEOs. And her point is all about connecting with people, because something that I didn't come natural to me and I had to learn the hard way is that at the end of the day, bigger your organization, the bigger the problems. However, those problems are more about resolving conflict and interpersonal dynamics versus figuring out the right technology or tool to do something.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, moving on to next couple of questions. Startup or corporates? What you would prefer for a product management or product manager?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 3 companies, so my DNA is in the startup world, and I think it's very important to recognize that there's pros and cons with this, right? Sure. In fact, we have 2 types of businesses. We have our B2C business, so we offer our public certifications for individuals, but we also have our B2B business. We do a lot of training for large organizations that are going through digital transformation. And those organizations are very large. Most of them are in the Fortune 500, right? So banks, healthcare organizations, and those teams are massive. The impact that those teams make is also massive. So I think it's important to recognize what you just asked me for anybody, because there's no right or wrong answer. It's more about what you think that you can do better at. And if it's building kind of 0 to 1 products, that's great. If it's also optimizing existing products and taking them from 10 to 100, that's also great.
Correct. Yep, absolutely. What is the one of the most innovative product which you have used recently or seen recently?
I wish I could give you a better answer because I'm going to say a classic now, which is ChatGPT. I literally use it every single day. And now I can't imagine my life without it, which is
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
because I didn't use it, I didn't start using it that long ago.
Amazing. One mistake which product managers often make.
Only one. Okay, let me think. I'll give you. I think I see three very very specific themes that I just want to call out with hopes that other people can identify this early on in their career. Number one is waiting to lead until you are given the authority. You've heard this phrase around, oh, product managers lead by influence. And that's true to a certain degree. It also, at some point, you also get authority. Like if you become a director of product and you start managing people directly, you have authority. So to me, and when people come to me and say, hey, I want to get a promotion, how do I do it? Well, leaders lead before they are given the promotion. People who get the promotions are the ones who've been unofficially acting as leaders. So you do not have to wait to
Yeah.
lead until before you get authority. You do not have to wait to get permission in order to do something that you think is better for your company. So those are the people who end up being rewarded, not the ones who are just asking before they give. So that's one. Number two is around strategy. So this word is very loaded, and I actually don't like it because it's not clear what it really means. But to me, product strategy means defining what we are building, why we're building it, and how we're going to track success. And the success is not just a success for the product; it's a success for the business.
Right.
So some people tend to believe that strategy is for the managers and for the leaders. And if you are an individual contributor, you are not supposed to work on strategy. Again, you do not need to wait for permission. I believe it's very important for anybody, specifically PMs who are at the heart of the company, to get involved in strategy. Even if they're not the ones calling all the shots, truly understanding how your company works, what is the product doing to drive business outcomes, and what you can do within your current scope to push in that direction, I think is absolutely critical. Do not wait for your manager to tell you what to do and then do not just do it. Just question absolutely everything and be that annoying person who is, trying to get in the meetings, who's asking the questions, who is really trying to do more for the business. And then the last one, and maybe I should start with this one because it's about being involved in sales. A lot of product managers, again, think that they're only in charge of building a product that users love. Well, even if you are not the one actually closing the deal, you need to fully understand how to close deals. In fact, it might not be a bad idea to close a few deals yourself.
Yeah.
So I believe in product leaders who really understand the business side of things and are okay getting out there, not just to ask questions to users to see what they should build, but actually talk to customers to be able to sell their product.
I think these are indeed a valuable learnings, and thanks a lot for sharing all of this three mistake of product managers. Uh, okay, wrapping up, what comes to describe product school in 3 words?
3 words: sell, build, repeat.
Awesome. Awesome. So that was our quick rapid fire round where we heard a lot of candid responses from Carlos. Moving on to our next few questions, especially I would love to understand a bit into the our first question, which we spoke about product management myths that Carlos would like to debunk, and he mentioned about an MBA, and that connects to our next set of question is how important is get that official MBA or some official trainings to even pivot your journey into product management?
Getting an MBA is not important at all. In fact, if someone is listening to this and questioning, oh my God, should I invest $100,000 or more and 2 years of my life into an MBA? to then see if I can go and get a product manager job, I would say not worth it at all. It might be worth it for other things if you don't have enough clarity around what you want to do, you have the time. Correct. But like, we are in a product podcast and we're talking about people who want to get a job in product. There's way more efficient solutions that can help you get there, right? And what we build with Product School is that. It's like that fast track to help people break into product or even get that next product promotion. And that is, the format of our programs is 2 months part-time. The cost is a fraction. We're talking about $3,000 to $5,000. And the instructors, the people you're going to be next to, they are product builders. The instructors are product leaders. That's the cohort of people who are going to get it because they're also motivated to go out there. That's a very different value proposition than a more traditional master's degree.
Amazing. I truly agree. Like, you should have a clear thought why you want to pursue MBA. And if it's just for breaking into product management, maybe that's a big no. There are today, especially in 2024, there are a bunch of other ways of getting into that, and people are leveraging. And especially, I have worked with a lot of people working as a PM in Meta who don't have a official MBA degree. So you can actually figure it out where the world has moved today.
Yeah, and I would say actually the majority of the product leaders, and we have this data because we a lot of them teach at Product School, do not have an MBA, and they are extremely successful. And that's also the ultimate validation. One thing that I did as a student my whole life was to reverse engineer. What did the people that I want to be like, what did these people do when they were my age? Right? And today you can find these people thanks to the internet and a lot of these product communities. You can see on LinkedIn, you can see who they are and where would they study, what did they do, what made them unique. And who knows, when maybe 20, 15 years ago, those were other times and the degree could mean something different. Today, and I tell you, as a hiring manager myself, like, I really don't care if you did an MBA or not. What I do care about is what you've built, is how you think, is what is your ability to connect with people and lead. And I can test all of that throughout an interview process. And then, of course, while we work together. And in fact, I would say that unfortunately, some people that have MBAs come with unrealistic expectations because someone told them, well, you have an MBA, you deserve this and that. No, nobody deserves anything. You have to earn everything.
I think that completely sums up. I think, folks, if someone reaching out to me about this MBA topic, I think this section gonna be an epic one because we have data, we have further validation to acknowledge all this stuff.
Yeah, and look, when I started Product School, this is 10 years ago, this question still was there. And I'm sure 10 years from now, if we have another interview, this question might come up, right? But, we've been before, like a lot of the students that we had, they kind of realized they wanted to be product managers while they were at business school. Okay, well, at least they found their purpose and then they did something about it, right? After business school, they took our training, they went out there, fine. Today, this is an advantage, right? Like, there's much more access to information. You know what other options you have in order to break into product or grow as a product manager. And that can save you a lot of time and money. Like,
absolutely.
I was talking with a student the other day, was like, yeah, I'm stuck in this degree. I'm paying $120,000, 2 years full time. And then I think I want to be a PM and I have like a $100,000 loan. And you're going to get a job that is, but basically you're going to be stuck. And look, I'm not saying this to criticize that person. I'm saying, I wish I had met you years earlier because there are other alternatives out there for people to start their careers without taking tons of debt and not know how they're actually going to pay it back. And if the degree that they are taking or the master's degree is leading to any type of career outcomes at all.
Amazing. Truly. Last set of few questions, right? We all are transitioning into product management, and this is one role when people are aspiring to get into it, be it from sales, marketing, software development. But what does the career path look like, right? what are some of the trends have you seen a successful product manager finally exiting or yeah, how does that look like?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question because back in the day, it seemed like the end goal was to become a product manager. When
Yeah.
in reality, becoming a product manager is just the beginning of a new journey. And actually, the majority of people, over 50% of people who break into product, they want to grow as product managers. And there are very clear next steps all the way up to chief product officer. However, there are parallel paths. I've seen people that eventually become general managers. And that is a way to summarize that you are not just in charge of the product, you are in charge of the P&L for a part of your business. So you are responsible for P&L, not just for user satisfaction. That is a big deal. So you see, you can see companies like Intuit, for example, they have a ton of general managers, and those GMs come from a product background for the most part.
Amazing.
Another path that I've seen is becoming a CEO. Both at large as well as in companies as well as startups. So YouTube, for example, the current CEO was the CPO.
Correct.
But we also see a lot of product managers that they decide to build their own startups. It's a lot of overlap between building for a company and building for yourself. And then the third one, and this is also very interesting, is becoming an investor. I've seen more and more even venture capital firms that are now getting product leaders because they fully understand product and a company. So they can have that, they can bridge the gap between finance and business. An example of that is a person called Geoff Redfern, who was the chief product officer at Atlassian, VP of product at LinkedIn, and now he's a partner at Menlo Venture, which is a VC firm in Silicon Valley. I had him on my podcast a few weeks ago.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for sharing this insight. And that gives more reasons for people to maybe transition into this career path, knowing the future, what it looks like. Cool. We are towards the end of the discussion and the podcast, but we have two follow-up questions from the poll, which we did in LinkedIn few weeks back. So this question is from Kashish Miglani. And his question is, if I work in a niche domain as a product manager, does it limit my future PM opportunities?
I'm a big fan of niches. I don't think that working on a niche and becoming a master of something very specific is bad. In fact, when I started product school, someone could say this was a niche, right? It wasn't clear what would be the real opportunity for product management as a whole. And that was okay. Like, I just wanted to go very, very deep and ensure that the few people at that time that wanted to become product managers would be successful at that. We got lucky and that niche grew into what it is today. And I believe it's going to keep growing. But being niche is actually giving you an advantage because you can still branch out later and acquire more general knowledge of other areas. But in general, most PMs that you will see today were niche specialists or something, and then eventually became PMs. A PM by default is a generalist role, right? So come from an engineering background, other people come from a business background, other people come from a marketing background, but eventually they need to acquire a few of the other skills. So like if you love something because you are working on that niche, becoming an absolute expert at that will give you leverage if you decide to branch out of that eventually.
Awesome. We have one more question from Aisha Patnaik, and her question is, what's the future of product management from job opportunity perspective?
Well, that market has changed quite a bit because when I started, there wasn't really that many opportunities. Companies were still figuring out what is a product manager. And then the market exploded in a really good way, right? And now we've had 9 years of incredible growth. Like every single company was hiring PMs, and we already talked about that. And then a year and a half ago, more or less, we saw all of these tech layoffs in a lot of companies, and in general, how this affected the economy globally. But this also affected the product manager function. So we've seen a decrease of demand for digital roles, engineering, design, cybersecurity, product management. But I believe that's a temporary setback because all of these things that I just described is 10-year timeline. So if you look at the growth of the digital roles in general during the last 10 years, it's massive. So I believe that next 10 years from now, it's going to be even bigger as every single company tries to become more digital. So I wouldn't try to inform a decision based on what just happened in the last 12 to 18 months, because yes, it's not ideal. But if you look at this with more perspective, I am very, very bullish. In fact, and this is still early, we are seeing a slow recovery. We're seeing more companies in the Q2 of 2024 hiring compared to Q2 of 2023. But still early to that. I still believe that will take some time until we get to normal levels where we see a real increase in demand for not just product roles, but in general tech roles.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Carlos, for being part of this channel, sharing your insights and talking to me and all the questions. Is there anything you wanted to share to the audience before we wrap up this video?
Yes, thanking you for doing what you are doing, for giving me and other product leaders access to your platform so we can share our opinion. Want to make myself available to other people who are listening to this interview. So if they want to connect with me on LinkedIn, they're more than welcome to do it. I'll do my best to get back to them, as well as invite them to join our community at productschool.com.
Absolutely. I'm gonna share all these links in the description of this particular video. The books Carlos mentioned, the kind of trainings he mentioned, the product school link. So you can find into the description of this particular video. Thank you so much, Carlos, again for being part of the channel. And the folks, I hope you found this video to be very useful, and see you until the next video. Thank you.